Now she's filling her belly with air.
I had everything set up, like literally everything set up, all the tools, the chop saw, everything in here. Kahlua is really loving making this corner a little muddy. First time walking out here this morning. But also for these. We got a whole bunch of basically junk wood. This probably would have went into a dumpster on a job site.
Hey, Frosty. Hey, handsome.
We'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Kagan and I are sitting in what is supposed to be the bar area. I haven't got to work on it because the tractor was down. It's now fixed, but really, I think we need a bigger tractor to tackle this project. Help us out, Kenneth. So we got a whole bunch of basically junk wood. This probably would have went into a dumpster on a job site, and it's full of nails, screws, and everything. I grabbed exactly 30 boards because we need them. It's just gonna take a minute to take those screws and nails out of them. Let's walk over to the enclosures and see. We could store these boards. If I stored them, they'd probably go bad. White pine lasts a lot better if it's able to dry out. And most of my wood storage places are somewhat damp. So if I install it, it'll last, even though we're not 100% ready for it. So we're gonna walk down. First time walking out here this morning. Everybody had a big feed yesterday. Let's go in here. So this is one of our unfinished enclosures. I believe we have 5, 6 if we count this one, that still need to be finished. The shelving, you know, every 2x4 at Home Depot costs about $4. $3 and change, it's about $4. And you need 5 of them for every shelf that I build, with those little pressure treated blocks in between. So if we can pull all the nails and everything out of that lumber, we could finish the shelving in all of these enclosures and be past that step and get all that junk wood out of my way so we don't have to step over it anymore. I was like, why is this door open? She didn't eat because she's probably close to laying. Yeah. Has she started to dig yet?
No, it's all smoothed over and she's very lean looking. That's a lot of wrinkle. Now she's filling her belly with air, but she's...
Yeah, we don't know. She was mating with Onyx. It seems a little bit soon for eggs, but it's worth digging up. Possibly something to do later, because we didn't have anything else to do.
Hang on.
Kahlua is really loving making this corner a little muddy.
Yeah.
And is really enjoying that spot. Well, we just filmed the video with Kahlua. Actually, we got to finish that video today. So I'm not going to say anything about it, because I don't know which video is coming out first. It all depends on how everything gets done in the editing room. So let's walk back over and let's discuss why we're actually doing this today. So one of our longtime viewers, Lori Weiser, she has been asking to come out here and volunteer and help out with a project. And I thought this is a perfect project for Lori to come out. She wanted to come out this following weekend. And I was like, are you available Tuesday? Because I've got the perfect project. She wanted to come hang out, do something fun, and see all the animals, especially Frosty. So I was actually gonna let Frosty loose and let him walk the hallways while we were working, so Lori could really hang out with Frosty. I mean, it's about someone volunteering and helping out, which means a lot, you know, your personal time. We need the help. There are quite a few viewers that have offered to help, and I guess I could say I'm bad at accepting help. Because I pretty much just wake up and go full steam ahead and do something myself. But I myself have volunteered to help people in the past, and it feels good doing it. And so we wanted to dedicate this video to a good friend of mine, or good friends of mine, Harry and Jackie Kapanowski. Jackie is a Paralympic rower, retired now, but she's represented us in the Olympics a couple times. An amazing person, one of my favorite people in this entire world. And she has a charity that helps autistic people, handicapped people get out there and experience life. She has kayaking programs. She teaches people how to hand cycle. She puts on hand cycling races, wheelchair races. And her charity, I have mixed feelings about charities living in South Florida. I know so many millionaires that own charities. And some of these people get very wealthy off of their charities. And Jackie and Harry are not those people. 100% of everything that gets donated to their charity goes to their charity. And we just did a surf ski race this past weekend. And Jackie gave us these hats. If I can zoom in on the logo, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it on Kagan's where you can actually see it. Shifting Gears United. And you got one of their hats on, Freedom Coast Ride. So that's one of their shirts. One of their shirts. What did I say?
Hat.
Yeah, you've got the hat and the shirt. Yeah, there's their logo, Shifting Gears. That's one of their big races that they put on. And if you guys ever want to donate time or money to a very good charity, Shifting Gears United, look them up, help them out. Tell them Jerry sent you. So Lori was going to volunteer and we were going to be in the shade. I had everything set up, like literally everything set up, all the tools, the chop saw, everything in here. And she had, her mom slipped and fell. She's been at the hospital all morning. So Lori is dealing with that and isn't able to make it. So Kagan and I are going to tackle the project and we'll reschedule with Lori. She'll come at another date. This shows a 2x4 that I've already pulled everything out of. It's going to work out perfect for our shelving. This is what it looks like before. This was a wall stud. So all these little nails held up, I believe, T111 siding on the outside of the structure. And I don't think there was anything other than maybe some shelving. That looks like a cabinetry screw. Some things we are gonna cut off with a cutoff wheel, or we're gonna use a pry bar or a cat's claw to pry out the nails and just dump them in that little bucket right there. We've got to get through 30 of them. And what I'll do is when we have 6 of the longest ones, I'll cut the 72-inch ones. I think the increments are 6-inch increments. So I think it's a 72, 66, 60, 54, and a 48. And I'll cut the 6 longest ones first. That way, just in case, because some of these boards are shorter, like this one may end up being a 48. Cut them with 45-degree angles on the chop saw. Yes, I got a new chop saw for Christmas. Thank you, Santa. And this one's actually sliding, so when I cut the 2x12 lumber, I'm able to do one cut instead of having to flip the heavy lumber over and cut the other side. That's always been a pain in the butt. And then I have scrap blocks of 2x4 that I cut into 3.5-inch squares. So there's a square that's already cut. I will take one already cut one and I will use it as a template, push them both against the back guard, slide it over to the blade, and then make my cut. If it's 1/8 of an inch off, it doesn't matter. Basically, that pressure treated lumber sits between the 2x4 shelving, creating a small gap that allows air to get to both sides and allows it to last. We do have one to repair in Onyx's enclosure.
Yeah.
So we may look at that if we end up having any extras, but I think I have exactly what I need. But there was one already hung up in the first cage. So I may have one extra board, which we might be able to use. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna get through this pile of lumber first. Both of us working on them. Probably set up on both sides of this as long as we're careful and get going. Well, we're wearing the hats because It is still the middle of winter.
It is.
It was 62 degrees last night.
Yeah.
It was smoldering hot yesterday. So hot. Like, I was down to a t-shirt, and then I was like wanting to work shirt off. Like, so we're actually thinking about putting the shade cloth back up just in the hallway for us. Not ready to do it for the animals. I'm sure we're gonna have another, you know, cold front at some point, but I feel like I'm already ready for the shade cloth. Now, we've got a bucket for the screws and nails, but I also have a magnet that we can drag on this ground here and pick up, because one's gonna go flying, right? It's gonna happen. And this is gonna end up in our driveway, the asphalt millings. This is broke up blacktop from a road that they took apart. This is gonna end up on our driveway, and we don't want nails to be dumped in our driveway to end up in our tires. So I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse, and we're gonna get through these 29 boards we have left. So this is the last screw. I'm just gonna break that one off. It's an interior screw. So that's all 30 of them. It probably took us 30 minutes. So, I mean, it's $120 worth of lumber, and it took us 30 minutes between the two of us. Definitely worth doing. So now, we're gonna start cutting the 5 longest ones, oh no, the 6 longest ones, and so on and so forth, and then stack them up, and then we're gonna go do it shelf by shelf.
So yesterday we were kind of cleaning up the yard a little bit, doing some yard work, and we noticed that there was this awesome black racer shed. And this bush right here. Super cool. I love seeing evidence of snakes on the property. That makes me very, very happy.
All right, all the lumber is cut. The 48s, the 54s, the 60s, 66s, and the 72s. All of the blocks are cut 3.5 by 3.5 inches. Oh, we do need to load up screws. I think I have some 3-inch screws are all we need. And while I was doing that, Kagan made really good use of her time. So you guys remember, we have bats that hang out in this bar area on the top of the columns. And in the winter time, they leave and then they come back as soon as it gets warm. And they actually came back last week for like 2 days, and then they've left again. Now, I know that they also nest in the cabbage palms and stuff like that, so somebody's gonna say that you block them off of getting to their home and they're gonna come back and not know where to go. There's literally thousands of places for them to go. This was just a place they went. And I've noticed all around town, people have to go through extra precautions on their soffits, eaves. You even see on this house on the gabled end, that was actually a louvered vent fan that would turn on when the attic got too hot, that little square of plywood, and they covered it up because it was a bat problem, that they would lift up the louvers and go into the attic. We can build a bat box later and they will use it, but while they weren't here, so if they were here, there would be nothing we could do. We'd have to build this bar with bats in it and not be able to screen it until they left next winter, which means it would be unusable in the afternoons at night. Now, you could see the insulation This is the first one she did, and you see how much is oozing out. So she tapered it off, but it's still oozing out. We'll be able to trim it and stain it, and you won't even notice that happened. But this way the bats are no longer getting up there, and that's not going to be a problem for us using the space. And I will create another place for them, I promise. So now we're gonna drive to the back. I'm sure Pete's gonna be upset. I really didn't leave a place for him to get in. Are you gonna be able to get up? Come on. Come on. Yeah, you can get around. All right, perfect, we're there. It wasn't a long enough ride, was it, Pete? Charlie and the chickens are upset because they can't free range while I have the fence open to get this project done. So I think I'm gonna finish this one first, and maybe we'll set a time lapse on another one. I'm gonna get this one done for us first, and we'll go from there.
While Jerry is working on putting that shelf up, I will walk in with Frosty. I'll walk in with Frosty here. Since Lori didn't get to make it today, we'll feature Frosty for a moment. Hey, Frosty. Hey, handsome. He is looking awesome. Holy smoke show, Frosty. What's up, buddy? What's up, good boy? Love how white and light he is. He's got shed on that lower half of his tail, and he's so dirty up here. You had a nice meal yesterday, huh, Frosty? Yeah, you had a nice meal yesterday. Happy boy with a full belly. Look at those Pete's. Figured we could say hey to Glacier too. Hey, buddy. How we doing? Yeah. You want to come walk the hall again? You can go see who else is out, right? Right, Glacier? He's like, oh man, I had found a tree house.
Who doesn't like a tree house? Where can we build a tree house?
Oh man.
And who would we keep up there? Tree house for the geckos. Oh man.
One big gecko house.
That would be ultimate.
Look at him dragging his tail. That tail slide.
But also for these. So yes to all of them. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them done, and we're gonna do the 6th one together with some explanations. The first thing I'm gonna do for the cut lumber and the blocks in between is I'm gonna drill a pilot hole. Whenever you can, when working with wood, if you can put a pilot hole in there, it'll stop the wood from cracking. Now this is a softwood, so it's probably less important, but if this was a hardwood, it would be really important because softer woods tend to be a little more forgiving. If you were doing this in oak, you would have to, no matter what. Not that you would use oak for your shelving, or maybe you would inside. If you're building 1 or 2 enclosures, you could afford to use better better woods and stuff like that than when you're doing something to this extent. And then, just to make the work easier, I'm just gonna set all the screws in the holes quickly. Now I took my hat off because it was cloudy and now the sun just came back out, so I should be wearing my hat. Now, what's exciting about getting steps done on these enclosures is this spring, I'm not going to be ready to build the permanent enclosures for those iguanas yet, but I think they're ready for the next step, and we can move the iguanas outside. Boba's coming outside. A lot of those animals up front are going to come back here into larger enclosures, and we're going to sell some of the less friendly, less special to us animals to make room maybe for better animals, specimen animals. I don't know. I'm starting to feel less, the breeding stuff seems less important to me, because honestly, selling the babies is stressful for me. I don't enjoy the haggling. I almost feel insulted when somebody wants to start haggling for a price. That whole process is very stressful. I feel like I would just rather clock in and build something instead of all of that. So this shelf is going to be on this corner here. So what I'm going to do is look at this recycled piece of lumber. This has a lot of holes on this side. This side's pretty good, so we'll use this up top. If I use this side up, the rain would sit in these holes and it would rot this lumber quicker. So just look at the edge. This has to be good enough. That looks good enough. A lot of these enclosures will probably put some of that front shelving in as well later. But for now, we're just trying to use up all this stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is measure 12 inches in and just make a small mark. And that's where my pressure treated block is going to go. Now I'm watching that wasp. That seems a little aggravated. Hopefully he doesn't have a nest underneath here. I don't see one yet. Now this enclosure we need to get done pretty soon because we have a viewer that's donating. I'm not going to spill all the beans, but a rather large rock iguana. We'll get into the specifics of it, but a rather large rock iguana. In another month and a half, it should be shipped over to us. So this will probably be the enclosure that we'll set up for that animal. For now, again, I think we're going to do the iguanas in another area, but temporarily. All right, this is the better side. I don't measure after that first measurement. Now I just visually line that up. Do you like this shelf design?
I do. Sometimes it makes me a little nervous when their tails go through it. If they go to lunge
also
for a piece of food or fall off or...
But I've never had one break a leg or a tail from it.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned about their health if it was a pressure treated lumber shelf, like a plywood shelf.
With that toxic coating, yeah.
But you could do pressure treated shelf with dry lock to seal it, and then it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. You reused these shelves from the old cages?
Yeah, at least 2 rows of them, 2.5 rows.
Well, they've held up very well.
Yeah, and they're still holding up. I think some of them are going on 6 years right now.
Yeah.
6 years outside non-pressure treated lumber. That's actually really well.
Got that wasp.
Ants and wasps. I thought it was another wasp, but it was Evie's tail from the corner of my eye.
Evie, what are you doing? Are you helping?
that's another step done. We're done with the major cage shelving. We do have all the branches and stuff to add. These are gonna be smaller monitors and iguanas and stuff like that on this side. So we're not gonna do those giant logs going up. We're gonna do smaller branches. The next thing I need to do is finish those couple walls up, the divider walls, and get the hide box slabs done. And then we can start getting these guys done, which will be exciting.
Yeah.
So that was a great use of recycled lumber. And I'm gonna go eat some lunch. All right, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and ring the notification bell. That's a lot of stuff.
And check us out on our other platforms.
And check us out, yeah. How can you guys do all that in a day? Until next time.